Now let us have the pleasure of listening to Shri PKD Nambiar, entrepreneur, marketing strategist, and political analyst.
Namaste. Respected Gopalakrishnan ji, my dear friend Prafulla Kelkar, the President of Navodaya, Mr. Balakrishnan, and the General Secretary, Mr. Vijayan. And I can see a lot of faces, Mr. Pillai, MKG Pillai and Babu Panikar, Kutappan sir, almost many of those people whom I am very well personally known in the screen. My namaskaram to all of you. I know that we have extended a little more time than what we have planned. But before I start, I must congratulate Navodayam for taking up such kind of an issue and conducting a program like this at this hour. Well, both Gopalakrishnan ji and Prafulla, they both are intellectual people. So their talk predominantly have been from the point of view of giving an intellectual base to this particular topic. Maybe I'm a young man. Maybe my way of thinking is what Gopalakrishnan ji just mentioned, is an action and reaction, is something which or rather than more than those words, I would be saying that a proactive action is something which kicks me all the time. So I would, my talk in the next 15-20 minutes would be on the action that today on 2021, why a large number of people like us have to get onto a symposium like this, sitting at our home, why we even have to talk about a 1 billion population Hindu society across the world, have to discuss about the very basic of that, why Hinduism and Hindu deities are under attack or a subject to mockery in front of the public. That subject alone is so much of hurt. Any proud Hindu or anybody whomsoever saying in there, at least if not even the hardcore believers, or even if they are not the hardcore practitioners of a Hinduism or any of the Hindu sect or an action, he may not be the one who may be going to a temple. He may not be the one who is praying every day to any particular deity, but the one who call himself as a Hindu, at least in the certificates, should be shamed. That on 2021 at this particular hour, we have to discuss in a country which is supposed to be called as a Hindustan, a country which is called, which is the birth of the Sanatan Dharma, which is considered as the most ancient society, which is called as the most, it is a society which has always celebrated diversity. It is a society which has accepted and respected everyone, every thought process, every belief system, every religion, every kind of people and thought process. But as a proud Hindu, I feel ashamed on 2021, I will have to discuss that why my Hindu god and goddesses and my Hinduism, my belief system, my thought process, the one which has driven this century old or millions of years, is a subject of discussion. I simply agree with Ms. Gopalakrishnan ji that it is not the time to discuss. The reason we have to discuss such kind of a topic is only because of one of the reasons is that Hindu alone is the reason. He is so casual. He is very accepting that anybody can go and talk about his own belief system, make a mockery, but he will still sit and relax. Till the time you and me, as a Hindu, forget about as a Hindu, as a human being, if you are not ready to challenge, if someone is making a mockery of your belief system, and if you are not ready to respond, let's not blame the others. You better blame yourself. As long as you and me are not ready to accept the very fact that I am responsible for what I am being treated, even the so-called minorities across the world, as Mr. Vijayan was showing some pictures of some cute messages in the beginning of this symposium, you could easily can connect that anybody can talk, anybody can picturize my God and my belief system the way they feel, to making a mockery on you and me. I think the time for, as once the great saint, the great Hindu saint Vivekananda said, it is the time for all of us to awaken. This awakening is required not just to protect your culture. It is not just to protect your belief system. It is not just to say that Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma needs to be there forever. No, it is for your and my existence. Not only you and me, mine existence, but more than that, in the coming generation of me and you, if they have to live a decent life in this land of ours, we need to be sure that we need to be ready to accept the very fact that if anybody who is ready to, he is mocking my belief system, you should be ready to object it. Unless and until that does not happen, we will keep having symposiums like this, maybe get a little bit of happiness that, oh, okay, done, ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच, अच्छा हुआ, आज का बड़ा अच्छा डिस्कशन हुआ था, बहुत अच्छे से हमने कविताएं सुने, बहुत अच्छे अच्छे बातें सुने, हमने बहुत अलग अलग एग्जाम्पल सुना, हमने 1982 में हमने वो किया था, उसका बहुत अच्छा सा रिस्पॉन्स हुआ था, और 1990 में तो हमने बहुत बड़ा क्रांतिकारी एक्टिंग किया था. बट मुझे इसलिए आलोचना ये है, 1982 में हमने ये किया, 1970 में हमने ये किया, 1990 में ये किया, उसके बाद 2021 में 100 करोड़ से अधिक जनता होने के बावजूद, एक 15% ऑफ द ग्लोबल पॉपुलेशन होने के बावजूद, एक हिंदू और एक हिंदू संगठन को एक शाम को एक प्रोग्राम कंडक्ट करने की क्यों जरूरत पड़ रहा है? एक बार आलोचना करो, एक बार अपने आप से पूछो. It is not about an Navodayam is doing a program. It is not about someone else is doing a program. The basic thing, every Hindu, or at least the people, all of us who are listening this program, should be going back and thinking today that why such kind of a topic even coming up for a discussion. If you really think that again and again, that question will haunt you. And if it is not provoking you, that it is true. If somebody can put your Lord Shiva as a foot mat, his picture, the one which you go and pray to the temple, the one which you feel that it is the supreme God and the supreme force for us, for somebody, it is just a painting and an art on the foot mat or in the toilet seat. And you and me as a Hindu will still say, accept it. I would say all of us who are not ready to protest against such kind of an act, do not even have the right to be called himself or herself as a Hindu. Let me tell you a few things. This is a topic which is very close to me. Why is the reason being that I have been, of course, a student of politics. Do talk to many people. About 4 months ago, I was just asking in one of the function, one gentleman who is supposed to be a left liberal, he started talking about that as if his whole talk was all about that India was invented by Mughals, then discovered by maybe Britishers and Dutch and Portuguese. Before the Mughals had come to India, or Babur came to India, it was as if that all the people in India was like an Adivasis or the tribals who were not even known to wearing clothes. That is the kind of way he was describing. Then he was talking about the whole of his speech during that day was all about that Babur too. He said, so Babur came, then Humayun, then Akbar, then Shah Jahan, Jahangir, Aurangzeb to Bahadur Shah, Zafar 1, 2, 3, all of them, all the 12 people's name, he just one by one just was able to speak. I was a little amused, and then I asked him, the next slot was mine. Then I asked him, my dear friend, you have been so eloquent in talking about the Veer Gatha of the Mughals. I'm sorry, I'm not going to challenge you that. Let me take this, that, okay, they were all great warriors. During the same period, during maybe the Mughal period, can you just name the way you are explaining the 12 members of those Mughal families, or the 12 kings of the Mughal? I asked him, can you please name the 12 Hindu kings during the same period, all across the country? Forget about that one particular place or another place. You know what? To my utter surprise, he was only able to, he was talking about Shivaji, Maharana Pratap, Maharana Ranjit Singh, and then again he's starting. And the same thing again he's repeating. He was not even able to speak more than 3 or 4 Hindu kings. It was a big function. I challenged him. Maybe he realized, maybe the people who was attending the function was also equally being surprised with that question. That is the sadness of every Hindu. When you and me know complete history of the entire Mughal culture, the entire British culture, entire history of all of those people, you and me don't even know your and mine practice systems, the belief systems. We have always been divided. Maybe it could be the way, as Prafulla ji said, we were always good at celebrating diversity. But there is one thing which has always binded together for millions of years. That is the reason this civilization is the only civilization across the world stood still alive, and we are talking. We have always accepted everything which comes in front of us. Whether it is positive or negative, we have embraced everything. But unfortunately, we have never been able to protect us the way we should have been. Now today we are reached a position wherein our very existence is now under threat. Very existence of us is under threat. Politically, Hindu has always been divided. Socially, Hindu has always distributed himself into many sects and facts. So unfortunately, the very fundamental problem what we are discussing today, the primary reason for that has been the Hindu himself. So I would only say that Uttashtata, Jagrata, today is the day for all the Hindus to awaken, not against anybody else, but to protect his own belief system, to protect his own culture, to protect his own value system, which has been created over so many thousands of years. Now, if you really look at the couple of facts just for the discussion purpose. Have you ever thought that why this particular problem is? Because we know that the problem is there. We all understand that. Why is this problem? जैसे कहते हैं ना कि अगर किसी को मारना है, उसको सबसे पहले रीढ़ का हड्डी को तोड़ दो. उसका रीढ़ का हड्डी को तोड़ेगा तो फिर वो उठ ही नहीं सकता. उसको ऐसे खत्म कर दो ताकि वो कुछ करने लायक ही ना रहे. चाहे वो हमारे पॉलिटिकल क्लास हो, चाहे ब्रिटिशर्स से शुरू होके अभी का जो हमारा एक्सिस्टिंग पॉलिटिकल क्लास हो. What they all have done to the Hinduism or our belief system is that हमारा रीढ़ का हड्डी को तोड़ा. धीरे 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 करके उन्होंने ऐसे तोड़ा ताकि ये फिर कभी ठीक ठाक उठकर चल ना सके. लेकिन जैसे कहते हैं ना, एक मजबूत सिस्टम, एक मजबूत बंदा और एक मजबूत सिस्टम, चाहे जितना मर्जी आप मारे, किसी न किसी टाइम पे, जैसे हम मूवी में वगैरह देखते हैं ना, अचानक उठने का क्षमता रहता है। मुझे लगता है कि एक रेनाइसेंस, एक नवोत्थानम, it is going to happen in the Hindu society when the people like the people like all of us who are sitting in this particular program, or an organizations like Navodayam comes up and talk about such kind of an issue. I truly, from my bottom of my heart, appreciate this whole effort. Now, talking about the real fact, there are two things which happens for any organization or any sanstha or any religion, or what Prafullaji said, any isms to move on. One is called as the resource capacity. Now, what is the resource capacity? Even in a business or at house or anywhere, if we have to survive, what you require? We require resource. What is that resource for a Hinduism or a Hindu as a society have been? And other than the resource, what else needs to be there? Second is called as institutional capacity, or you need to have an institution. We call ourselves the family. If it is more than an individual, we say that we, in our Hindu society, we call it like a family as a concept, a family as an institution. When you say a family as an institution, the Hindu society is institutions have always been. Why Hindu as a society have been lived for several centuries is because our institutional capacity and the power have been our temples. Today, in the most of the temples, especially most of these, the people in this program is from Kerala, I believe. If you really look at, most of the temples are not with the Hindus. You and me may go and pray in Sabrimala or in Guruvayur, or else in the Padmanabha Swami temple, but all those temples do not exactly owned by you. The Hindus don't own the temple anymore, but then who owns the temple? The temples are owned, the institutions of the Hinduism, the temples. The heart of Hindu belief system, the temples. Our own resources, the intellectual resources, cultural resources, our money, every resource has been centralized to a great extent along with the temples of our temples, which has become an essential part of our way of life for the centuries, is not in the control of Hindus anymore. Today, our temples are ruled, governed by the governments. If I may take this opportunity to ask a question to all of you. If the Hindu temples belongs to the government, why not the Christian churches? Why not the mosques of Muslims? They are not in the control of government. Why? Why only and only Hindu temples are in the control of government? Or why Hindu temples are the only one thing which is governed by the government? And the people who are non-believers, who are sitting in the government, who call themselves as an atheist, are governing my temple, which is a part of my core of my belief system. It's a big question, all of you to ask. But don't ask this question. First, when you ask this question to yourself, if you are convinced, please talk to 10 people. But if you are only making a noise within you, it is not going to solve any problem. Maybe today you are facing this problem only to an extent. But your and my next generation will be not only just going to face this problem, they may get eliminated. They may not even own the land which you and me says as yours and mine will not be there for them. So beware, what is happening today is something which you don't even know in the scale which the Hinduism and my belief systems are under threat, especially in some land, especially like a place like Kerala. तो मुझे और आपको जागना होगा. हमारा इंस्टीट्यूशनल कैपेसिटी को तोड़ दिया गया है, हमारा रिसोर्स कैपेसिटी को तोड़ चुका है, और उसको वापस लेके आना है तो आपको और मुझे और हम सबको मिलकर उसके खिलाफ आवाज उठाना होगा. कोई पेंटर और कोई मूवी डायरेक्टर अगर जब आपका हिंदू देवी और देवताओं के ऊपर कोई आभास तरीके से कुछ करते हो, तो आपको सिर्फ फेसबुक में एक पोस्ट डालने की जगह you should have the courage, wherever you go and see, you should be having the courage to go and protest against. If you are not having the capacity to do sending an email, I don't think that makes any big problem. You can always send an email sitting there. You can at least go and give a complaint to the police station. You can take that problem to an organization which may believe in this particular stuff. But if you and me are not responding, even seeing, you are on goddess Saraswati or a माँ काली को कोई आभास तरीके से प्रस्तुत कर रहा है, उसके बाद भी अगर आप आवाज नहीं उठाते हो, तो आपका और मेरा कोई अधिकार नहीं है अपने आप को हिंदू कहने का। कोई आप मंदिर का प्रेसिडेंट बनने से, कोई आप एक संस्था का और एक अय्यप्पा भजन समिति का प्रेसिडेंट बनने से कोई फायदा नहीं है अगर आपके सामने आपका ही भगवती का, आपका ही भगवान का अनादर करते हुए वो बोलेगा अच्छा ठीक है, फिर आपका कोई हक नहीं है उस संस्था का, उस मंदिर का प्रेसिडेंट या सेक्रेटरी बनकर रहने का। यू शुड हैव द करेज to articulate. If anybody, if you are a true Hindu, you should have the courage to go and object to such kind of an act. And I personally say, I have done it a couple of times, and the kind of immense satisfaction I have got, I can tell you that it gives me so much of a pleasure and happiness, not because of I'm just a Hindu, because I truly believe that Hinduism is not just a religion, but it is also my culture. It is my value system. Because of Hinduism, this country and this civilization is still there from the last several years. As you said, I just wanted to tell you that because I generally don't want to take this discussion to another religion, because I feel such kind of why we are a soft target is because of our own weakness. Having said that, you should also be understanding how other religion, imagine a Hinduism without temples is the reality of today, because the temples don't belong to me and you. Forget about Kerala, even in the state of Uttarakhand, I was told that 51 major temples have been now taken over by the government.
It's 7 o'clock.
So it's happening all across. I am not talking about it, but in Kerala, we all know that it is being taken away from us for several years. All the revenue which is generated is being dispersed or in the hands of the non-Hindus or the non-believers. Imagine Muslims or Islam without mosque. Imagine Christianity without churches. We always know that the church, the powerhouses, we call it like the powerhouses, the churches are the powerhouses. The Islam, the mosque is the powerhouses. You remember that during the time of VP Singh and all those kind of time, the Delhi Imam Bukhari gives a message that all the Muslims should vote for a particular political party. That kind of power every mosque and every spiritual leader of those communities were having. What happened to our society? What happened to our temples? When you say that the richest temple in the country, richest temple in the world is Sri Padmanabha Swami temple, which has got billions and billions of gold and the worth of assets are there. On the other side, imagine that you Hindus in Kerala will become a minority by another 10 years' time. Christians and Muslims are progressing, but you have a temple which supposed to belongs to Hindus, which is the world's richest temple in the world. What an apathy, what a contrast. But still, you and me will not talk. If at all, even you and me will talk, we will only talk in private talks. We don't have the courage to articulate such messages in public platforms. Even there are people who do not even have a challenge to write a letter in protest. Then they say that I am the president of this particular temple, of a Hindu temple or an Ayyappa temple or a Devika temple. This is the problem. So the problem is us. we need to find a solutions for ourselves. Imagine in a place like Kerala, in Malappuram during the November time, that the Ramzan time, you get down in some particular place. There's a place called as Changu Koti, something like that. That is the place where you get down. This is one of my very, very good friend has narrated this story. He's a famous journalist. You get down there. If you wanted to get from the highway, that is the place where you have to get down to go to Malappuram. If you get down there and during the day, during the Ramzan time, you will not get a glass of water. All the restaurants and the hotels would have been closed because they will not serve even a glass of water. This is not, we are not talking about the Middle East, Arabian, this thing, or a Saudi Arabia. This is, I'm talking about the Malappuram in our own place called as Kerala. But there is no discussion. If you get down that particular place and you wanted to have a bottle of Bisleri, you will not be able to buy it because all the places have been closed. Now, you as a Muslim do have the right not to consume anything because you are fasting or your that is your holy time. Does that mean that if you are operating a hotel, you should not serve others? That is the kind of system. Your place and my place is slowly not going to be ours. If the government data can be taken even as a, not for PKD Nambiar's data or any of others' data, the government of Kerala's data, if you take it, you will get to know that by 2030, that is the latest, the Hindu in Kerala will become a minority. But the so-called Hindus would not talk. Even if the photo of an Ayyappa is being misused by another community, we still have so much of an issue to protest. Object. That is where the problem is. You will be very, very surprised to know there was an incident just 2 years back in Trivandrum during the Republic Day time. There is the whole almost approximately 450 to 500 journalists. There is a large journalist community because it's a capital of our state, where they all assemble in the golf course for a program. It's basically like maybe for a 4 or 5 hours of a program wherein all the ministers to all those who comes. One of the so-called journalists who is supposed to be a very, very left secular journalist from a Muslim community, during the function, he objects. He says that the meat which is served, the chicken which is served here or the meat which is served here is not halal meat. So if it is not a halal meat, many people have not eaten the food because food or those things because it was not even a halal meat. Now, next time onwards, you should not only say, you should definitely have only halal meat. And he did not even stop there. He went on to say that there should be written properly as in a big bold letters that this food is prepared by halal meat. This is not somebody who is a fundamental Muslim. This is supposed to be a left liberal Muslim, that too a journalist who prays the present dispensation from morning to evening, is saying something like this. But why my Hindu is not forget about talking about something like this, not even ready to protect his own belief system? I think we need to unite. We need to unite not against anybody. We need to unite to protect our thought process. We need to unite a belief system which we inherited from the last several centuries. We need to unite to make sure that we live much more happier in the times to come. We need to unite for us, all of us, to progress. We need to unite for our very own existence. I think if we don't unite even today, I can only tell you, not only you and me will not have no right to say that we are a Hindu. You will not have any right to say that even if somebody mock my religion, my God and my goddesses and my belief system, we will be just looking at it. I think that should not be happening. From here onwards, only my humble submission to all of you. Whenever, even if you feel that, yes, if something is wrong happening against our belief system, I am just a call away. You can write an email to me. I will take up that. Whether it is illegal, it is not necessary that you need to go and fight with everybody. But then we all must be ready to protect our belief system, our culture, and the very Hinduism and Hindustan as a total. It is not a favor you are doing it to yourself. It is not a responsibility alone. It is something which you will not only be doing it to you, but for our generations to come. And as a society, a belief system which is inherited to us, it is our primary duty to protect it. I can only say such kind of initiatives should be more and more. Maybe right now we are doing it virtually, but there may be, if we are able to replicate such kind of programs, many more, this may be one of the best way to put these kind of messages and more to be aware and to ensure that we protect our culture, our thought process, and our belief system. Thank you once again for Navodaya for having me on this function. And I must congratulate Navodaya for taking up this. May God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your influential message. We are charmed by your sharp fluency.